All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Larry. I thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to participate in this hangout tonight. I consider it an honor and a privilege to have a little bit of your time, so I promise not to waste it. Invited you, and some of my teammates have invited you to learn more about what we're doing with the print money formula. So I'm going to get into that, but I want to just welcome you tonight. We do the video here, so if you want to communicate with us, we'll be able to, check out that back and forth of communication. So for the sake of time, let me just lay a foundation of why I created. I've been coaching entrepreneurs, home-based business owners for the last 2 years full time, and one of the things that I've come across is the challenge. Obviously, if they're involved in a home-based business of some sort, their goal is to try to solve their money problem, but that problem doesn't get solved as fast as they would like because money is needed to make money operation. And in most cases, the people that are trying to fund their operation are doing it from their bank account, from their paycheck, or from borrowing money from somewhere, and it's just not working. But I've just from my own experience that there's a lot of money that people are leaving on the table with the dependency on some sort of an opportunity. And if that opportunity isn't fast enough, they're not able to turn a profit, they're not able to stay motivated, they're not able to make money, and it's just a real negative. I find people jumping from business opportunity, and they don't really understand what the problem is. But the problem lies within. So when I created the print money formula, my mission was very simple. It was to show people on demand, using their own knowledge, using their experience, using their wisdom, using whatever they may already possess. I use a scripture that's in the Old Testament. It's a story in 2 Kings 4, verses 1 through 7. It's the story of the widow's, they call it the widow's oil story. It's a woman who had major debt. She was very poor, and her sons were being taken into slavery because of the debt. And as you can imagine, being a mom, she was pretty distraught about it. Reaches out to a guy by the name of Elijah, and she's telling him her story. And I'm sure she was probably weeping when she was telling him the story. And so Elisha asks her a simple question. He says, "What?" And she replies, "I don't have anything except for a bottle of oil here." And so upon hearing that, Elisha says to her three basic things. He gave her a plan. He first of all her neighbors. And so her and her sons went out, and that's exactly what they did. They borrowed a bunch of pots from their neighbors. The second thing he told her to do was to pour out the oil into all of the pots. And she did that. She filled up every pot she had, and when she filled them all up, he gave her the final instruction, and that was to go and sell the oil. And the Bible says in verse 7, to pay off her debts because of selling the oil, she was able to live on the rest.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I use it as a foundation story is because everybody has had an issue with money, and you have had the solution in your house, like she had the oil in her house, but either you didn't know that it had the value that it understand a plan that you could implement in order to make it happen. In other words, the oil in that story is basically what's in your mind. It's what's in your head. It's what's in your have what I like to call Swiss cheese holes in their money while they're trying to figure out, these other things. You think about Swiss cheese, all those little holes in there. And what I'm saying is the oil that you love for photography, or your ability to, put on, apply makeup, or you have several children who you've raised extremely well. They're well adjusted, and they're you get respect from your teens. And there's a lot of parents who don't have respect from their teens. Or you might be technical. You might love the game of chess or shoot pool for somebody, helping them to coordinate. Maybe you know how to decorate a home. I could go on all night, but my point is the walk-around knowledge that you have in your head have not discovered that is your oil. It is the number one thing that you can use to monetize or to make money for whatever it is that you need. And so that reality tonight. And I also want to introduce you to several people who are taking this training that teaches you how to And I have these one-liners: how to take what you know and how to take what's in your head and turn it into bread. We give you the skill to make money at will and all of that. But at the end of the day, my mission is to convince you of yourself. Most of you have sat into an opportunity meeting or come to a hotel or someone's home or just like this, a webinar, or watched a video about an opportunity. And the individual on the other end of the camera or the PowerPoint slide, all of this proof and all of these reasons why you should sign up and invest in this business opportunity or program or software, whatever it might be. And in some cases, you have decided to do just ladies, or you went into your wallet, guys, and you pulled out that plastic and you ran it for multiple hundreds of dollars many times over, convinced that this other outside business opportunity, it was the magic pill. Some of you have become greatly successful at these opportunities, while some of you have not. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if you have been willing to see something else other than you and buy into that, my question to you is tonight, I'm talking about you. Are you willing to invest in you? Are you willing to really identify what you actually have that somebody will be willing to spend money on? And at the end of this presentation, will you decide to buy yourself? Now, we don't have an opportunity for you to. I don't have a home-based business or a network marketing program or an affiliate program. That's not the nature of the Print Money Formula, because the man or woman that you see in the mirror is the opportunity. Now, the challenge for most people is they want to fit me into a box. They hear me say there's no opportunity, but they're still looking for one, because that's the box that everybody has been fitted in up to this point. I understand that most people won't understand it, and even more people will be afraid to embrace it. But I want to encourage you tonight that if you are listening to me right, the fact that you have spent hours talking to people on the phone about whatever your strength or passion is, you, my friend, have oil that you've been pouring out that you have not been able to receive money for that tonight. If you're on Facebook and giving advice, or you're pulling up to someone's house and you're actually there in their home helping them, and you find yourself doing that over and over, that is a sign that you have something of value. You are the shortcut to a lot of people's lives, and I look at it this way: if you're going to be the short apples, I love apples. If I wanted some apples, I got a couple options to get some apples. I can go buy me some apple seeds and put them down in my backyard and water the seeds and the tree to grow, and then I can go in there and yank down the apple after a year. Or I can go down to the local grocery store, which is 5 minutes from my house, with a $5 bill and grab a bag of apple. It's my shortcut. So when people call you or come see you or have you come see them, they recognize that they don't want to have to plant a tree and wait a while. They recognize you as the shortcut. Like, you're not getting a check for that shortcut that you're providing for them. I'm telling you, that's a mistake. Ladies and gentlemen that are my guests, if you can mute your computers so that I don't get any backup, I'll have you hearing some noises. I want to try to keep the lines clear. So mute your computers, my three guests tonight, and then that'll be greatly helpful. All right. So I'm laying this foundation because I need you to appreciate. One of the quotes that the team uses a lot is this analogy of aspirin. I got this from a gentleman by the name of Delatoro McNeil. I'll constantly give him credit for it because he is the source of where But he says that you are the aspirin to someone's headache. You, meaning you have something in you that will relieve their pain if you give it to them. But why in the world would you give away aspirin? There is no pharmacy in the world that gives away medication. It doesn't matter how sick you are. If you have just a headache all the way up to having a major medical exchange of money that takes place for you to get that relief. And so if you are truly the aspirin to somebody's headache, then you need to be charging for your aspirin. That is the nature of the Print Money Formula. And I want you to embrace that. Now, I'm not looking at the chat, but I'm going to look and see how many of you really get where I'm coming from. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I've been printing money since I was probably 12 years old. And what I mean by that is, I told this story to somebody the other day. my eyes have been open to what it means to see opportunities. You know, I had a girl in my neighborhood. She had a friend over, and they had one bike between them, and they needed a second bike. And as soon as I heard that, and she said she had $1 or $2, she was going to go down to the store and buy some candy with. I said, "You give me one for the whole rest of the day." Print money, seeing opportunities in front of me where I actually could go and you know, help benefit myself while I'm helping somebody else. You know, before computers were, you know, the internet and all that, we had PCs were just coming out with no internet. You could actually use them as a word processor, and I was typing papers in because there was a need. I had the skill. I was willing to use it to make money. I didn't type papers for free. There was a lot of people around me that did, but I wasn't one of them. And I used to stand out in front of a clothing store, a men's clothing store, and I used to buy these sample size fragrances. I used to call them miniatures, but they were basically samples. Stand in front of this clothing store, and I would sell those samples and make $80 to $100 a day because I was willing to see an opportunity. Robert Kiyosaki, in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, invite to some of my guests to start speaking. Robert Kiyosaki, in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad, has this example which is pretty profound, and it really speaks to the vision. Not only wants to be wealthy, but understands the principles of printing money. And here's the story in the book. Robert Kiyosaki went to his rich dad, which is his friend's father, to learn how to be. When he went to him, he employed Robert Kiyosaki as a 9-year-old to work in one of his stores, and he was wiping off cans. That was his job. And one day, Robert Kiyosaki off cans and went into his rich dad's office complaining about it. He said, "I thought you were going to teach me how to get rich. All you have me doing is wiping off cans for 12 cents an hour," or whatever he was paying him. And see opportunities all around you. Until you can see the money that is under your nose, you will never have an opportunity to be wealthy. And you need to go back out in the store and look for opportunities to get. When he went back out, started wiping the cans off again. But this time, with this in his mind, he noticed this guy coming in that came in every week. And this guy was the guy that came in and changed. But this time, Robert Kiyosaki watched him and noticed that he would cut off the little UPC labels off of the comic books. And he would take the old and then put the new comic books on the shelf. So Robert Kiyosaki walks up to the guy and asks him some questions about it. Why is he doing it the way he's doing it? Why are you cutting off the label? What are you going to do with the comic books? In exchange, he discovered that the guy just charged the old comic books. And so in that instance, Robert Kiyosaki gets an idea. And he says, "Can I take those comic books?" And the guy says, "You can have them under one condition. And that condition is you don't sell the comic books to any of the kids." And he said, "I won't sell the comic books to any of the kids." After a week, this guy, when he came in at this point, Robert Kiyosaki would take in all of the comic books that he was going to throw away, and he ended up creating a comic book library around that area that would normally spend 25 cents for one comic book, would now give him the 25 cents for accessing all of the comic books. Library for the same 25 cents they would have to walk away with one comic book for. That, ladies and gentlemen, is really what I'm here to explain to you and get you to see. To peel the scale, just like Robert Kiyosaki, learn to see opportunities around him to print money. I want you to see opportunities not around you but in you to print money tonight. So I've invited several guests. I wanted to come out and let them share a little bit of their testimony about their participation in the print money formula. Now, at the end of this evening, and I want to say I invited you tonight to tonight's Hangout. I want to encourage you to get back to them because each one of them has an affiliate link that will actually lead you to the full-blown presentation about the print. I suggest that you go watch the webinar and then decide that to allow us to train you on printing money, really from literally thin air. And you're going to hear some real live testimonies of people who are doing. So with that being said, I want to introduce my first guest tonight to come out and share a little bit. This is a gentleman who has been following me as a marketer online for many years. He and I have by phone, I've helped him out, tremendously, and quite frankly, anybody I help helps me. They may not even realize it, but nonetheless, I wanted to introduce you all tonight. Mark, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, brother. I don't know if I can see you though. Go ahead and say something so we can see if the camera pops up.
Yeah, I can see me on the screen. I don't know if you can see me.
Okay, I can see you just fine. Excellent. So, Mark, thank you so much for jumping out tonight, man. The flow is simple. I want you to share who you are. What happened for you when you saw the print money formula. Why you decided to take advantage of it, and anything else that's on your heart. Because I want people to really appreciate the value of this training. So I'm going to mute out and.
Okay, so hopefully you can still hear me because my side is kind of going in and out. But one of the things, Larry, that attracted me to you, first of all, I've been involved in the home-based industry for about 15 years, and when I say that, I don't mean dedicated into having the home meetings and the hotel meetings, but understanding the benefits of having a home-based business from a perspective of being able to reduce my taxable income legally and put a plan B in place. So that's why I love this industry. It gives you the opportunity to create cash flow, but more than that, it gives you the security that a job will never give you. So when I saw you, what I saw was all the things that I wanted people to get from this industry, and that was that you can come in here and be sincere. You can tell people the truth. You don't have to blow a bunch of smoke, and they could actually be successful. You're not going to get rich overnight, but you know what? If you put a little work in it and you find the right product and you find the right company, if you would, you could generate hundreds of dollars and teach that to a few people, and you can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so I saw that in your information, but more importantly, what you were teaching is what I have always seen the vision of this industry, and that is that anyone can generate income. But more importantly, what you did for me is what hundreds of people have told me about my knowledge, which I know is a life-changing dictionary, and that is educating families on the basics of taxes. The number one financial cancer for families, why most people are involved in network marketing, is because they make good money on their job, but they're losing a ton of it in taxes because they simply don't understand that information. And I was giving away millions of dollars of knowledge for free and didn't realize that I was actually doing the people that I wanted to help, I was really doing them a disadvantage. I was really hurting them because I was overloading them with information because I think you said on the last Hangout, I packaged my information the wrong way, and the results were really hurting the people that I was trying to help. And what you gave me was, Mark, the information you have is valuable. Package that in, small videos. Give them enough to know that there's value, and then they'll come and they'll read the book. And here's what happened. All of the people that I gave the oil away, if you would, for free, didn't take advantage of it over the last few years. I went back to them, and I offered them an opportunity to sit with me for 30 minutes for $150 for that 30 minutes, and I told them exactly what I was going to show them. It was the same exact information that I gave away for free. And I only had one person out of 17 people turn me down, and the light bulbs in their eyes it just shined. And what it told me was that I had been doing them a disadvantage, and I had also been doing myself and my family a disadvantage because I didn't realize that I had oil to sell and people were standing at the door willing to buy it. So you know what? That's what I got from here. I'm telling you what, it has been a tremendous week just talking to people about the ebook that I'm coming out with, and they're saying, when are you coming? When are you coming? And I don't even know what price tag to put on it, but what you have given me is the opportunity to achieve everything that I wanted to achieve, help others, show them how they could save money. I don't know if I lost you, you lost me, and legally and ethically go out here in this industry and create true financial freedom. So you said to ask them for their headache. I'm giving them the chemo for their financial cancer. It's going to be a tremendous ride just sharing this information. I want to thank you for that, because even for my wife, it's opened her eyes up with the information that she has that we didn't realize what to do with it properly. So I'm excited.
Man, thank you so much, brother. That was awesome. You know, one of the things that stands out to me about what you're saying, reverberate over and over again from the other guests, is that, you know, we tend to not really appreciate the fact that if we just ask for the money, one of the things that I tell my team is that it's okay to ask them to pay. I got a buddy of mine that's a minister, you know, a marriage minister, and he's been giving away his marriage ministry for years because of it. But now he's decided, he said he was listening to me one day, and he said he was talking to a lady who was reaching out to him about marriage counseling, premarital counseling, and he said he heard it's okay to ask him to pay. And he was, for the first time, able to sit down with this lady and work out an actual compensation for his value, for his wisdom. And it was a norm for years and had been just leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table, and just from a broken place, just from this whole idea that I don't want people to take it the wrong way. It says in Proverbs 11:26 that the people will curse him that withhold the grain, but blessing is upon his head that sells it. Yeah. You know, one of the greatest stories in the Bible is himself with Potiphar and explained to him the famine that was going to come in 7 years. And so he prepared for that famine. And when the famine hit, people were coming from all over the grain that they had stored up for 7 years, but they were paying for it. They weren't just shelling it out to people. The people had to come with money. That's the beauty of helping people to be free and liberated from this bondage of belief that you cannot ask for equitable value. And that's what I'm excited about, that you not only knew it from a business perspective, but you now understand it from a more intrinsic perspective, that if I'm going to talk to somebody for 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes about, I have a right and somewhat of an obligation to myself and my family to get money for that value. It's just that simple. So Mark, you can mute your screen just to keep the lines clear. I appreciate that. I'm going to bring out my next guest. I'm going to bring the ladies in and out. So we got a guy, we're going to bring one of the ladies out. The next who also has been around me for quite a while as an internet marketer, and I'm excited to have seen her name come across the screen when she decided to remember how she ended up seeing the course, but she'll let us know here in a second. But I want to introduce everybody, and I forgot to have my man Mark tell us where he's from. But Desiree, I'm going to bring you out next and share a little bit of your testimony about the Print Money Formula, you know, why you decided to get involved with it, what it's done for you, and whatever else is on your heart to share. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, first off, it's such a pleasure to be here, okay? This is really a dream of mine. I love to speak. I love to help people. And I didn't know how to combine the two without getting played, without me losing in the end, you know, because I was helping people and they were getting value. I would talk, I would mentor, I would speak, I would coach to so many people, and they would get so much, and they would say, oh, you are a lifesaver, oh, you're great, thank you so much. You know, it's been instances where people will say, you have changed my life. And it is a wonderful, fulfilling feeling. So, you know, I'm very grateful and thankful for that. But it's kind of like what you're saying, you know, it should be a two-way street. You know, where I'm from, I use a lot of my grandma quotes, and my grandma would say, fair exchange ain't no robbery. Okay, so it's been right. Okay, if it's a two-way street, it's not a problem. But if I'm steady giving, and I'm not getting anything in return, and like you say, I do have a family to feed, you know, it's lopsided. You know, it's not right. So I first found out about Print Money Formula through Marquell, which is one of my mentors. And you know, he speaks so highly of you, Larry, which you already know. So when he spoke so highly of you, and I said, oh, okay, I'm gonna, you know, definitely, you know, invest in it. And it really has been one of the best investments that I've really ever had. And people ask me all the time. My biggest takeaway not only was the ability to make money off my knowledge, but my biggest takeaway from Print Money Formula, and I'll never forget it, and I use it in my speeches. I had a speech last night, and I used this, where you said you started studying kings, and you said that when a king speak, it's law. You know, point blank, period. It don't matter who like it. It don't matter who don't like it. It don't matter who want to respect it, who don't respect it. When a king or queen speak, it is law. Period. Point blank. And I said, you know what? I am the queen of the kingdom of Desiree. This is my kingdom. I have to protect this kingdom. I have to speak the laws over this kingdom. And it doesn't matter if an employer likes it. It doesn't matter if this person likes it. It doesn't matter if that person likes it. If I say it's law, then it's law. And so that has been a really, really wonderful revolution in my life, in my thinking process. And I also ran across a scripture in Romans, I believe it's verse 12, 1-3, and it says, be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye conformed by the renewing of your mind. And that's for any of us. If you keep saying you're broke, guess what? You're not going to go against your law. You going to stay broke because you can't. Your mind has not been renewed, and your body is not going to go against the law in which you put forth. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to go out here, I'm going to make great things happen, this is going to be the best day of my life, I'm going to make wonderful things happen, then that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's exactly what you're going to do. So me, I love coaching, I love helping people, and Larry, you know, he made me get out of my own way. Who was stopping me from charging? Was the customer stopping me from charging? I could blame my kids all day. Oh, the kids. Are they stopping me from charging? You know, the list can go on and on. But who is the person that's stopping me from charging, people? I am. The girl in the mirror. You know, as Michael Jackson would say, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. So, you know, again, I don't want to take up too much time, but everybody, I want you to understand a mentality change. Mentality change has to take process, because the first person you have to sell, and I repeat it, the first person that you have to sell is yourself. You can't sell a customer, you can't sell mom, you can't sell dad, you can't sell your husband, you can't sell anybody out in the street, on the internet, Facebook, until you sell you. Okay, thanks, Larry.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. If you can mute your computer, that'll be awesome. You know, a lot was said there. You know, the biggest thing that you said at the end is who's stopping you from charging. I love that. You know, I had a lady that was on, family member was also on the webinar, and was texting back and forth, and she said, you know, I have been going into people's homes and decorating for them, and you know, I don't actually get paid. And I said, and she was sharing that with me. I said, well, that's a broken place that she's going to have to heal, because at the end, and this is one other person who was struggling financially. You know, what's interesting about it's never the people, at least it's rarely the people, let me say that, to leave a little wiggle room, it's rarely the people who have true prosperity that have issues like that, decided to appreciate the value. They have learned that within me is enough money for me to do anything I want to do. One of my favorite TV shows, Shark Tank, for any length of time, all of those people coming up to Shark Tank are basically trying to get those sharks to invest in their oil. That's really it. I've seen some amazing inventions. I've seen other businesses start from that TV show. But they didn't start from that TV show. They started in the mind of the individual who was looking out over the world, and either they saw an opportunity that they could solve a problem or fill a hole or whatever, and they took action on it, and it turned into a multi-million-dollar business. It changed their life. And let go of the limiting beliefs that you have in your head, causing you to believe that you can't do this. You can't make money with what's already within you. Really. I mean, I've learned to practice this principle. You know, just looking around and trying to see what I can do to actually expand my belief system and my own ability to make money. Within the course, we talk about the tree of knowledge and the forest of wisdom and prosperity. In other words, in the course, what I'm teaching people to do is the trees represent individual by things that you know. This is the tree of knowledge on chess, and this is the tree of knowledge on marriage, and this is the tree of knowledge on, you know, advancing in a career. You know, some of you have faster than anybody that anybody's ever seen. You're getting recognitions and awards and rewards, and people around you marveling at that, and you have no idea that you can actually get paid, simply perform better on their job. You suffer from what my mentor calls "it's just me-itis," which I love to say that. It's just me. Nobody cares if I know how to, you know, if I have a bar exam on my first time out. You know, nobody cares if I have a study technique, you know, that will help them pass the bar exam on the first time. Nobody cares. See, that's that is an influenced lie. When I say an influenced lie, it's the spirit of the enemy trying to get you to believe something that's not true. It's the source of most of the poverty that we have anxious apprehension about the future because we can't see the outcome that we want, rather than having anxious anticipation about the outcome that we do. But today I want to give you a chance to see that within you is all the money you need. I want you to really start thinking about what you know right now. I want you to start thinking about what you know extremely well and around you about it. My wife has women coming over here all the time about their kids and about their budgets. You know, we have 6 children, and I food pantry, pull open the deep freezer and say, look, this is how you organize this. Woman to woman, this is what my wife has done. And my wife has done that over and over and over again. That's not her oil. I have a DVD downstairs from a girl. My wife bought this girl's DVD, and she had a lamp, one of them old school lamps with you had the shade off, had it in her kitchen, and she had an apartment-sized kitchen. It was really small, and just had the bulb right next to this girl's head, and she was braiding hair. Braiding hair, and she created a DVD out of braiding hair. I think it's like a $29 DVD. And all of the videos are just like that. No studio quality, no intro, outro, no fade in, no fade out. The daggone video starts and she's in their head talking about braiding hair. And I own a DVD. My wife ordered it. We used to have one of our kids had a bedwetting problem. And my wife was, you know, we're vexed with that. And my wife found another mom out there who put on little tips on how to overcome some of the stresses of being a mom. And one of the tips that she had in there was about bedwetting. And that tip was basically, I think she said, stop giving your kids liquids 2 hours before. It was like the gospel to us. It's like I always said, the sky opened up and doves descended down. And it's such a small thing, but it was a big thing because we did not have that aspirin. She had in this little course, and she sold it. She was a mom that was wise enough to recognize that I have something that other moms could use, and I refuse to just give it away because my kids need this mom. And that's the whole point of tonight, is getting you to expand your eyes and your mind to see that all around you is money. And until you can start to see and believe it, you won't receive it. I said I'm going to bring up my next guest. All right, this gentleman, again, is one of the people who has latched onto this program. I see him in our Facebook group constantly, not only giving updates and others. You know, it's just he was one of the first to put a video testimony together about the print money formula. And so I want to bring him out right now and give him an opportunity to share some of his story for him, since he's actually invested in the training. And I want to also continue to encourage you to get back to the person that invited you tonight to get their link to learn more about the full-blown plan, the full-blown presentation, or the full formula for how you can print money with what you already know. With that being said, I'm going to stop talking and give the floor to my man, Mr. David Carter. Go ahead, my brother. It's on you. What you got?
Sorry, Larry, I was actually muted. And I'm David Carter from Washington, D.C. And so the reason why I joined the Print Money Formula was because it was stored up knowledge that I always had in my head. I always have books around. I'm always reading. I'm always writing down things in my journal. And it was a lot of times where it's like you got to get out of your own way. It's that mind shift that took me from here to the next level because of the simple fact that you need the print money formula because I'm always helping people. I always find myself, oh, you need help with your business? Oh, what are you doing in your business? Oh, you have another product or services that you're trying to market? And I'm always helping, but I wasn't actually always putting my link available for them to actually pay me money on demand. So it was always an issue where I'm like, I'm scratching my head like, is it me or, my mother always taught me to treat other people the way you want to be treated. And I'm saying something is not right here because of the simple fact I'm not getting no cash. It's like I'm just giving everything away from just simple stuff, just like just a domain name. I mean, you could charge for any and everything because it's a lot of people don't know the information that you have. And then the way Larry put it, where it's you stopping you. It's nobody else stopping you in your own path and in your own way. You're actually creating a barrier that is not even there because it's only you that could take you from where you are to where you need to go, right along with mentors who could push you and who can hold you accountable and make sure that, you're on task to make it happen each and every day because they're holding you accountable for what you're doing. And now you're printing money on demand constantly because they're actually holding you accountable. And that barrier is down now because it's no longer there because it was only a mind shift that took you from where you're at to where you want to go. And so when you know where you need to go and stop storing information inside your head, that was the entire breakthrough that I needed with Larry. It was like I have, as you can see, I have books behind me. I have a lot of stored up information where Larry, when I actually spoken to him, and I created a flow chart for 2015. I have so many products and services and training courses that's about to come out that's evolved just from this training. And I'm like, wow, really? Just from this time, just with personal coaching with the Print Money team and Larry just being interactive in the Facebook, I'm getting ideas from left and right. I'm like, oh, let me take this down. Oh, where's my journal at? Oh, let me bring up my notes in my iPad so I can take this down because don't leave it accountable to your head because you're not always going to remember each and everything that, you think you can. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm thinking I want to do this training. And when you stop and learn and understand that it's only you that's stopping you, and it's nobody else that could take that away from you. So when you jump on board, I highly recommend that you jump on board because it gets me excited every time I see, the group. I'm inspired. I'm motivated to do even more because I see other people. I see my friends, my extended family out there making it happen on a continuous basis where, it's not the everyday world. It's not the average people. We're beyond average. We have greatness within us where we all need to share and we all need to let our oil out, as Larry called it. And, it's been an actually blessing. And I know I've been ranting and raving, but I'm so excited about this program and Print Money Formula. So, I mean, if you're not on board, you definitely need to get back with, the person who invited you to this call. But back to you, Larry. I'm super excited. I'm ramped up.
Good stuff, bro. I appreciate you. You said a couple key things I want to kind of hit on. Applied what you know. You could actually, as he was talking about stored knowledge, you actually could just take what you already have. It doesn't require you to have used it yourself. It doesn't require success with it. Some people are scholars, and just the fact that they study well and you have knowledge on how to do something, you can sell that knowledge to somebody. You really can do that. It's a matter of deciding to. It's a matter of just starting to believe and understand that I did the work it took to accumulate the information. You know, every book that we read, you know, like I got one stored. A Wife's Guide to Healing in the Wake of a Husband's Sexual Sin. That's the name of this book, okay? My wife and I are in marriage ministry, so we're always reading different things. But my times when I pick up books like this, especially, it comes from two people who have, in this case, had a relationship that had some sort of a issue, and they were able to overcome this thing. It says more than 3 million copies sold in this series. Somebody out there listening to me is a best-selling author waiting to happen just because of your life. You know, things that you can make money on. Most people think it's just all success. Failure is one of the greatest things you can make money on. People love, you know, you can tell a story that was all good, but people love, you know, that lived in a train station for 2 years with their child, like in the movie Pursuit of Happiness. You know, people love to hear those stories. One of my favorite TV, Scared Straight, and the whole entire show is about trying to turn troubled youth around by taking them inside of a prison to deal with actual convicts. But their failure is being used in a productive way to turn kids around. So your failure actually has monetary value. Story, you might be somebody who went through a tragedy. You might have lost a loved one to a murder or to a sickness, and you went through that side, and you learned some principles from that. The voice that you can speak into the life of somebody could transform their life. It could get them out of a depression. Something about getting a record deal, and you don't really need a record deal to get paid. You can take what you know about the record industry, the recording industry, and sell that knowledge on your way to. You see, I'm trying to get you past all of these limitations that we face. Some of you are artists, and you're trying to get your art sold. But school that can help perfect another artist's technique, and you can teach that and get paid for it. That's the print money formula, ladies and gentlemen. My goal is to teach into some methodology. I got some methods that I teach to help you facilitate that, but I'm going to keep dropping this knowledge on you so you can really get where I'm coming from. Some of you can look at a room and go, man, if they had this, would be amazing. Some of you can put, you know, food combinations together that nobody's ever seen before. You got great grandma's recipe, you know, tucked away somewhere on some dish, not cook necessarily, but put together a cookbook or teach people how to cook in a video series because it's just your passion. That being said, I'm going to bring up my last guest tonight. This was the young lady that actually was the one that hit the ground running the hardest. She was the first to actually put up, say, big numbers in this, and she'll tell you what that is. You know, but we're talking about a young lady who is a single mother out of California, and there's a really interesting component to her story that I would like and bring us full circle on what it really means to latch onto this idea of printing money. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce everybody to my buddy, Mr. Nisha Tour, and take it away, my friend.
Okay, Larry, can you hear me? Because I know my internet might be a little choppy, and I hope it's not that bad, but can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Everybody's
Okay.
internet through it. Just keep going. It's all good.
All right. Man, the print money formula, like when I first seen it, September 14th, I knew that I needed this course because before this course, I didn't believe in myself. Like Desiree said, you know, you got to be able to sell yourself, but I couldn't do it. You know, when I was growing up, all I heard was you can't do this and you can't do that, and I believed that. And so in business, before the print money formula, I had mentors. My mentors would tell me, you know, T, you have words in you. I'm like, okay, I have words in me. And then I would always hear that saying, you know, you have everything in you that you need. But see, I'm like, okay, yeah, I would say it, like, yeah, I got everything in me that I need, but I didn't know what the, I didn't, what's that, what's the everything? What is that? Nobody really broke it down. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I got everything, but I'm not really understanding what they meant by that. So, I said, okay, I know that I want to be able to help people. I know some stuff, but I don't know how to do it. But there was a point in time where the limiting beliefs that I had, it kept me from stepping out. And it kept me in my chaos zone. I don't like to say comfort zone, because in that zone that I was in, there was nothing comfortable about it. I was broke. I was struggling. And it was nothing comfortable about it. And so I finally said, okay, you know what? I'm going to just step out and do it. So I started to do these little coaching sessions. And when I started to do it, the problem that I had was asking for money. I didn't know how to do it. I failed to know how to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't know what they would think. And so I never did it. So here comes the print money formula. And the thing that makes me so excited about the print money formula is because when I seen it, I said, I know this is not going to help me. It's not going to only help me in my business, but it's going to help me in my personal life, because I had no confidence. Everybody would see me talking on videos, and they would, coach with me. And I would tell people I'm shy. I have no confidence, and they wouldn't believe that. But everybody would see this leader, this woman that is just this leader, and she, you have this much knowledge and you can help people. You have words in you, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it. So here comes the print money formula, and I said, I need this. Now at the time, I was struggling, because see, I was helping people. I wasn't asking for the money, and everybody else was benefiting, but not me. Not me. And so the reason why I would not ask either is because I would see my mom always helping. And anytime people wanted to give her something, she was like, oh, no, that's okay. She would always help. And my grandmother, so I'm thinking that, it's cool to help. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I want somebody to help me, but when people would offer the money, feel some type of way, just like my mom. But print money formula comes in, and it's just like, so I said, you know what? I'm going to go head on, and I'm going to apply everything that I'm learning. After every module, I put my head down, I made it happen. It was so uncomfortable, but I had to step out of my comfort zone, because everything that I wanted was outside of my, chaos zone. And so I stepped out. Larry got in my butt, did everything he told me to do, and things started happening. So I would share, I'm helping people, but now I'm asking for the money, and I'm like, wow. And people have the money, and they will pay. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it's nothing like being able to sit there and to help somebody and get paid for it. And I look at that, and I'm like, you know what? I have a lot more confidence. Not only is it good for business, but personally, I am confident. I walk around like my posture is stronger. The pastor seen me yesterday. He was just like, man, you just look different. And I'm like, man, you just do not know. So this course not only helped me, business-wise, but personally, it has changed so much for me. Because my whole thing is like, you can have the sexiest business opportunity, you can have the sexiest tool, whatever. If you are not, if all ain't right, nothing is gonna happen. So I'm so thankful, Larry, for this, because not only have I made more money than I've ever made in anything, but just personal for me, that's priceless. That is priceless. And it's not, it's man, if you're thinking about the print money formula, I promise you, it will change your life. Not only professional, like in your business or whatever you're trying to do, but personally. I can't thank you enough, Larry. And you know what I told you the other day, and when I say thank you, words cannot explain.
I appreciate you. You've been involved since September 14th. It is October 22nd, so we're looking at a month and a week roughly. Do you happen to have the numbers of what you've been able to generate off the top of your head, or close idea?
Um, I know the last time it was little over $2,200, but I've been making money since, so it's
A
probably
little over what? You broke
2,500.
up a little over what?
A little over
You said 2,500?
um, the little 20.
It's like your total camera just died or something. I don't know. Did you other three hear what she said? I'm not getting it. Say it, the computer cuts off.
She said a little over 2,500.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I can't get it. All right. So I just wanted to just kind of, and that's just basically not adding a business opportunity, not selling an affiliate product, not recruiting into an organization. This was just her. you know, I just want to stress it because it is such a revolutionary idea for the average person to believe, that their little knowledge about, how to fix a lawnmower, would be the actual. But there are people that would pay you for that knowledge, But we just got to get off of that whole "it's just me" stuff and latch on. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So about 5 minutes till top of the hour, and so I didn't want to keep us all night long, but I want to one more time. Listen, if anything that I or one of the guests said that resonated with you, that you can take what you already know and turn it into cash flow. You have 4 people right here, but there's over 300 people right now since I launched the Print Money Formula. You can actually find on our YouTube channel, and you can go to youtube.com/user/Print Money Formula, and you'll see many of those testimonies. If you're already, you may decide to get involved. You can join our private Facebook group, and you'll see tons and tons and tons of posts. We have this thing we call reality checks, and a reality check basically for selling your knowledge that lets you know it's real. That's why we call it a reality paycheck. And you'll see many, many people posting their reality checks, and we want you to have a reality check. We hear or think when they hear the words reality check, no, we want you to get some money. And we want that to be the reality that what you have is truly valuable. And in the Print Money Formula, I teach you 4 marks in order to facilitate that. So don't worry about once you figure out what it is, how to pour it out. Just like in a story, Elijah not only identified and showed her the value, he came here. I'm going to help you identify what it is, then I'm going to give you a game plan and help you carry it out so you can do exactly what she did in that story. You can get out of your debts, you can get out of your financial woes, lifestyle that you want to live. And I want to end with this, just to kind of give you some perspective of what's possible. I have a wife, and we have 6 children. And my wife doesn't work outside. For me to take care of everybody, I have to do what you're learning tonight in order to accomplish that. But I want to give you a story just to kind of give you some perspective of why I really want you to take advantage of this. Promote, crazy wealth. I mean, you can get crazy wealth, but the average person will never see that. But what I want to share with you is just this quick story about the possibilities of freedom that you do this. When I first came to Florida from Ohio, with some of the success I had, I wrote a book in 2009 that took off. And it helped me to get to the point where I could make a decision to Florida from Ohio. But the story I want to tell you is real quick. When we first got here, my wife and I were driving up and down the highway just trying to get to know Florida, looking at palm trees and all the fun stuff you can do. A restaurant off the highway. And we said, let's go grab something to eat. It looked like a nice restaurant. And so it was like a Monday, Tuesday night, just an odd night of the week. And we walked into this restaurant. It was an upscale restaurant. And we could tell by the decor. We can tell by the wood carvings. We can tell by the fact that the menus were bound in leather. So we sat down at the table. They came around with this cart of meat with all these choice cuts, and I looked in the menu and I noticed that the appetizers were as expensive as the main course at any other restaurant that I've ever been to. So at a glance, we knew we was going to spend maybe $150 just to eat. And my wife says to me, "You really want to eat here tonight?" It's not a holiday. It's not an annual, because that's the box we live in when it comes to money. I'm only going to spend a certain amount of money when it's a special occasion. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Me being with my wife, special occasion. In my mind, I'm with my lady. I don't need to wait for a holiday, a birthday, whatever. But my response to her was this: $1,000 this week. I think it'll be all right if we spend $150 on a meal tonight. And we talk about that because it's one of our greatest memories coming out of the depths of that, and be at peace with the fact that we could have the meal we wanted, not the meal we could afford, the one we wanted. And I want you to have some bills, and not only pay your bills, pay them in full, and then even pay them ahead. Be able to get some bills, the bill come in and you see $150, $200 credit that you paid ahead just in case the storms do come, because they're going to come. But if you are always strapped, that'll never ever be the case. And I'm telling you tonight, I will reveal to you some money that you never thought was there. And then once I reveal it to you, I'm going to give you a plan to get the money, and then it's going to be up to you to carry it out. For jumping out tonight and sharing their testimonies, I want to encourage you one more time. Whoever invited you, whether they invited you on Facebook, whether they invited you through email, whether they connected you to, whoever it was, however they got to you, get back to them and ask them for their link to the actual training, the free training we give every money formula, and then you can decide to invest in the actual blueprint itself. It's only $97 if you decide to invest. So, but before you make that decision, be informed. Look at our YouTube channel. Recall the testimonies from tonight, and listen to how I explain everything, and decide if you think it's for you. If it's not, we understand. But we're looking to start believing in themselves and knowing that the oil that's within them should be poured out in the marketplace. And if you're already doing it, stop giving it away for free. If I can't do anything more for you tonight, get that phone call and somebody say, hey, can you show me blah, blah, blah. I want Larry Beecham's voice and these 4 guests I have to ring in your heart and in your mind, and say to yourself, you know what? It's okay if I ask. All right? With that being said, thanks again to all my guests for coming out tonight. I'm going to end this training as I end every other training I do. Everyone, go forth in victory, and please remember to get back to this training and ask them what to do next and how can you do it, and they'll be there to take care of you. Thanks again to my guests, David Carter, Desiree Inspires, Mark Pyers. All right, be blessed, everyone. Have a great night.